Hi, today we're going to talk about cadence, and I'm going to talk about it in a way that's going to help you progress your cadence. No, not to this mythical, magical number that everybody should be riding at in terms of RPM. No, I'm going to help you find your ideal cadence. I'm going to give you 5 drills that will take that cadence and turn it into not an optimal number, but an optimal fitness. Hi, Scott here again from Kinetic Cycle Coaching. So if you're interested in all things fitness, performance and bike fitting with a little bit of humour, you've come to the right channel. Hit the subscribe button, you'll get a video every single week and the opportunity to dive into the live stream every Monday and get your questions answered and have a little bit of fun as well. Okay, but I want to share 2 rules with you first. These rules are fundamental to the blueprint you're going to create to help you with cadence. Rule 1. Your optimal cadence is linked to muscle length and muscle contraction speed. Well, what does that mean, coach? Okay, muscle length, saddle height, saddle 4.5. The distance between the pelvis and the cleat. You need to experiment with that. So play around with it. Maybe in your indoor drills, set up your phone to video yourself and have a look and see what interaction is happening at the hip, happening at the foot. Make a change. Do things feel better? Do they look any better? Because remember, the feel is so important. And rule number 2, your cadence will be impacted by the terrain, the wind direction, and your level of fitness. As you move through a ride, you can go from 0 when you're downhill freewheeling, all the way through to 110, 120, 150 even if you're sprinting for the best seat at the cafe. But normally within 60 to 100 on any day on an average ride is acceptable, but that cruise cadence that you find, that happy sweet spot, the one that feels right for you, that's the one that you're going to spend most time in. So you've got to dial into that number and work at that number to improve your mechanical efficiency. And your mechanical efficiency is to do with your nervous control through the foot, your stability through the knee, the ankle and the hip. And how do you hold yourself on your bike? So yes, it's got part to do with a bike fit and how you've set yourself up, but it's something that you can improve. We know from research that pro riders on flat and downhill will ride anywhere between 95 and 110 RPM, which is a high RPM, but you're probably thinking, that's because they're pros. Yes, they work daily at their pedaling, but the more efficient they become mechanically, the better they become metabolically. So if you can work at your pedaling and improve your skill, you will conserve oxygen more. And ultimately, that means you'll go longer, faster, and you'll resist fatigue better. Now, all of these drills, they're habit stacking drills. So what I mean by that is you've already got the habit, you're going to stack them on top. And that habit is things like warm-up, cool down and your workout, so you don't need to find any extra time. You're already doing the workout. So all 5 of them can be done in a week. In fact, I know some riders that will do all 5 of these in one specific workout in the week. So the first one is called the yo-yo transition. Now for this drill and all the other drills, I want you thinking about having a plank of wood or a blanket that hides your legs. All people can see is your upper body, and it's the movement of that upper body that will dictate to them what cadence is that person in. So imagine having 2 buckets full of water and you have to get them 5 miles down the road. Every time your upper body starts to move around, you lose water out the bucket. That water is power, and it's power that you are creating with oxygen and glycogen. But it's fallen out the bucket, so it's wasted energy. So I want you constantly working on this nice, relaxed, composed upper body, okay? You are never grabbing the bars like you're throttling someone. Well, you wouldn't do that, would you? But you're never creating more muscle tone than is needed. Because remember, muscles under tone require oxygen. And it's wasted if it's going into your arms. So, first drill, yo-yo transition. A yo-yo, up and down, transition, smooth movement between the two. We're going to find your happy place cadence. We're going to spin up for 10 seconds and then spin back down for 10 seconds. But no movement upstairs, and that transition is smooth, okay? It's not fast and jerky. So, I'm going to use a happy place cadence of 90 RPM. So this could be after a few minutes spinning in your warm-up, and then I spin up to 100. I add 10 RPM for 10 seconds, and then I slowly bring it back down to 90. Yeah? Look at the movement in the upper body. I keep it at my cruise level for say 20 seconds, and then I up again. Nice and easy. Hold it, and then ease it back down. I'll just climb off at that, but you get the idea. So you can then add 20 seconds at the higher cadence, then bring it back down. You can have that run for say 2 or 3 minutes. Take a few minutes off and then repeat. It's a wonderful drill, but you're constantly focusing on the transition up and the transition down. Smooth. Drill number 2 is the agility drill, where we're going to move our hands around. So we're still constantly thinking of the upper body. This is a great drill for a beginner because it's really good for confidence and bike handling. It is a little bit more advantageous to do this when outdoors, but you can practice it to begin with indoors. So again, we're going to keep it in a nice easy gear, and we're going to spin up to our happy place cadence. So I'll put mine back up to 90. And the idea is we're going to move our hands around now, but we can't move the cadence. We want to really dial in the cadence. When a lot of riders go to move their hands from, say, the hoods to the drops, the cadence will have that little change. And that's usually because there's been a big hip movement. I want you to really overemphasize the stability through your ass, okay? Stability through your feet. So, we spin it up again, and we start to hold that happy place cadence. Now you will get into a position whereby you don't need to look. You feel, you know you're at 90. So you should play the game almost about guessing, blindfolded. Don't look. And then look, bang on 90. You have to take my word for it, don't you? So, what we do is we take maybe a 30-second block and we start to move our hands continually around while keeping the cadence dialed in to the same. Don't speed it up, don't slow it down. So the brain is now working hard to deal with all that movement. Now that may seem like a very basic drill, but it's very good for beginners. It's very good for confidence. You might be saying to me, oh, I never go into the drops. Why? Is it because your bike doesn't fit you, or you feel uncomfortable down there? Remember, saddle height, muscle length needs to be optimal for you to enjoy that bike. The third drill is one-legged pulls. Really easy to do, but massively beneficial. Let me ask you this. If I was to say to you, go and write up your training diary tonight, and every minute change hands that you write with. Dominant hand, less dominant hand. Of course you'd think I'm crazy. I wouldn't be able to read that side, never mind send it to you to read, coach. But the thing is, we have to put both feet into the pedals, and one of them is more dominant than the other. It's got more nervous control. It's potentially even stronger. And if you're as old as me, you maybe have had injuries over the years. Your hip, your knee, maybe you've twisted or broken an ankle. So your plantar and dorsiflexion through your feet is different. And I'll guarantee you that you're probably biomechanically inefficient as well when you walk. You maybe have wear and tear on the outside of your heel of your shoe. Well, that's all going to represent itself through the cleats into the pedals. Think of the bucket of water again. You're losing water out the outside or out the inside. And we're trying to convert all that power through the pedals. Remember, power requires oxygen. Waste that oxygen and you're wasting fuel. So by becoming more mechanically efficient through the pedaling, you get fitter, you get faster. So, with our one-legged work, what I want you to do is to find a good resistance that works for you. Don't worry too much about finding your optimal cadence. So, start off with your weaker foot in first. So for me, I take the right foot out. Now if you're out on your outdoor bike, you can rest that foot in the rear stays. Just don't poke it through the spokes, please. Or just dangle it out to the side. Do it at the end of your ride when you're fatigued and you'll really dial in the feedback. So start off. Now if you experience a clicking action, a clicking noise where the cleat is banging against the pedal, that's because your foot and pedal are moving at different speeds. So you're super inefficient and you really need to work on that. Start with maybe 20 to 30 seconds, build it up. Concentrate on this nice action. Feel the glute start to work. Switch off, go to your favourite foot or your dominant foot. Again, pedal through, listen for those clicking noises. Unless you're in a cleat that has no float, you may experience that. So either speed up the stroke or slow it down. Find that sweet spot. Finish that off, and then always go to 2. For maybe double the time that you were doing the one-legged. So if you were doing 30 seconds, double up to a minute, and then find that optimal cadence. What you're trying to do is to create those neural pathways from the feet to the brain. Get it to rehearse the correct movement. And you'll feel a massive big exhilaration when you put both in. Wow, that feels a lot easier than just having the one. Great drill to do, warm up, cool down, even out on your ride. The next 2 drills need a little bit more power, they need more resistance, so we could argue that they're a bit more advanced, but anyone can do them. The first one is an over-gearing drill, and this is when I'm going to put the gear as much as I can. I'm going to really ramp it up. Outdoors, I would use this on a 4 to 6% hill, or any hill that I can get up sitting down. I'm going to reduce the cadence, increase the resistance. Oh, I can hear you saying that's because the research says that. Reduce the cadence, increase the resistance, and I conserve oxygen better. No, it's because at slower RPM and greater load or peak torque, we are impacting on the nervous system more. We're recruiting nerves to correctly stabilise the foot. We spend longer in the 360 degrees of the revolution. So therefore we can really drill in an ideal foot pattern. By doing that, we stabilise and we're sending more power through the middle of the pedal spindle. Make you go faster, yeah? So, find your resistance. Again, it can be easier doing this outdoors on a climb, as I say, because we've then got gravity helping us as well. But we're going to drill in. So on the Watt Bike Pro here, if I stick it up to 10, and I'll dial into my cruise cadence minus 20 to 30. So I'm going to look for around about 60 to 65 RPM. And in that big resistance, it's still giving me just shy of 200 watts. And what I'm trying to do is to stabilise this upper body again. Remember that blanket? The plank of wood. And I can really feel my gastrocnemius working, my glute working, my big toe. I can feel the pressure through the foot. I would look to keep that going for maybe 2-3 minutes. I would work it into a torque workout or a hill workout, and I'm getting great feedback from the foot all the way to the brain. Okay, let's get into the fifth workout, and that's the single gear workout. If you've ever owned a fixie, you'll know the joy there is from finding those speed changes through cadence alone, because you can't change gear. For beginners, I'll sometimes give them 2 gears or 3 gears if they go outside, but that's it. So that includes all the intensities within that gear range. I like to have threshold as the upper intensity for this workout, so I'll find the gear that gives me threshold at my happy place cadence, that being 90 for me. And then I'll drill in some sub-threshold workouts plus recovery, but I'm not going to change gear. So what I'm getting is that multiple effect of the different cadence drills all within one effort. So I find the gear for me on the Walk Bike Pro, it's in between 4 and 5. That will give me my threshold at 90. So I dial it up to 90. I would do a few minutes at that, and then I come back down to recovery, but I don't change the gear. So now I'm in that slower RPM, drilling in the proprioceptive nervous control. My next effort may be at sub-threshold. So that for me is going to be about 5 to 7 RPM below my normal cadence. So there we go. And then from there I may jump up to threshold for another effort. Back to sub-threshold. Back to recovery. You get the idea. It can be a very, very powerful workout, done indoors or outdoors. So not only am I getting a fitness workout, I'm getting a pedaling workout as well. So remember, cadence is really important, but your fitness is what's going to move you forward. And the fitter you get, the easier you'll find it to move within your cadence range. But remember, efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. If you become more efficient on the bike, you will go faster for longer periods. That's what it's all about. Plus, it'll put a big smile on your face. Okay, remember, you stay safe out there, keep spinning, keep smiling. Anyone can train hard, but there's only a few of us can train smart. I'll see you in the next video. Right, where are we? Threshold. Oh no, it's Thursday. Let's go easy. Okay, you take care.